you pressured? Were you pressured in any way?
Yeah. I got called a school shooter because I stayed inside. That was real nice.
Who called you a school shooter?
This one kid. He was like,
another kid.
And but if you ask the kids, why are you walking out? Some said, I don't know. Some said just to get out of class. Others said, for gun control. Others said just to memorialize the kids that had died. It ranged all over the place. So, but if you chose not to walk out and stay in class and do your work, then you were told that you must support killing people. They brought it to the...
How did the teachers, how did they swing?
I'm a teacher, but in an elementary school. In an elementary school. But we had 20 kids walk out of our building, too, in Michigan. Yeah, but I know...
Were you pressured by the
No, our school district made it very clear that we had to remain exactly neutral. We couldn't encourage it, we couldn't discourage it, we couldn't participate other than to keep the kids safe and monitor them. And, obviously we're elementary, so...
There was a lot of talk about how it was organized and who financed it, because it seemed to be a very big thing. They tried to make it sound like it was a student.
I don't think it was.
Right, that it was a grassroots effort, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was that women, whoever organized the Women's March, whatever group that is.
Obviously, George Soros money behind the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. As a teacher...
Trying to find my husband. I don't know where he is.
As a teacher, what would you like to see as a solution for
gun violence?
Yeah.
It's very difficult because I'm in an elementary setting, so it's a little different. If I was in a high school, I wouldn't mind the teachers having a gun, just it remaining somewhat anonymous other than between the administrators and the teachers. But I don't think the teachers should be telling the kids, hey, I'm one of the people carrying. You know what I mean? There should be a lot of checks and balances, and there should be a lot of training. But, unfortunately, the kid in Florida, unless you give the teacher an AR-15, they're not going to win.
Well,
how good of a
here's something that I find in my investigations on this that I find to be very troubling. If there's one thing that, once something happens, it's an incident.
Right.
The second time it happens, it's a coincidence, but then the third creates a pattern.
Right.
And the pattern you find in all these school shootings is, one, the authorities knew. They were tracking the guy. He was, they knew of him.
Right.
He was on the radar. The second thing is that all of the shooters seem to be on psychotropic drugs. They've had trouble. They were under some kind of a care.
Right.
The third thing that seems to be is it's never the incompetence of the authorities. It's never the pharmaceutical companies held accountable. It's us. We always get punished. Now, that pattern and what's showed up in this recent shooting, which is very troubling, the authorities obviously were either, one, incredibly incompetent to a point that it's almost unbelievable, or two, were complicit in the action itself.
Right, but, to that end, and I agree with you, obviously there was a lot of, there's Dad, but, there's hundreds of calls per day. Hundreds of calls per day. Hundreds. Michigan's ranked number 4 in the country right now for threats. We live in southeast Michigan, where it's very concentrated population-wise, and we're number 4 in the nation. Hundreds. My high school, we're a very small rural district.
And what normally are the threats?
Well, how do you distinguish which one's actually going to do it and which one's just being attention-seeking or wants the day off of school? You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. And now that kid, there was a pattern. It went on for years and months.
Very kind. Here's a get-out-of-jail-free card from Hillary Clinton for you.
Oh my God! I think my husband wants to start browsing down.
Well, thank you for your input on that, and
thank you for your
I'd keep listening to this woman if I were you. Thank you very much, and happy Easter to you.